Welcome to Zentangle Project Pack Series number 5. My name is Rick,
Hi, I'm Maria.
and the tutorials in this series can easily be watched in any order, but we do recommend watching the introduction to Project Pack 5 first, as it explains the inspiration behind the Zentangle cartouches, and it discusses the materials and the instructions on how to prepare your materials and mount your photographs. So
In this video, I am going to show you a few borders, fairly simple. I'm going with more like a classic border, like a William Morris look of leaves and swirls and borders. And awesome stuff. This is a picture of me and my dad about 25 years ago. I was very close to my dad. This was my favorite picture.
So I love how she's going around with an aura and mimicking almost just that nice, gentle, erratic, deckled edge.
So we're going to put another aura around, and I think I'm going in brown at this point.
Yeah, brown pen. And to gauge the width, she's using the tortillon there. So about a tortillon's width.
Yeah, so just to give you a general sense, not that you have to measure it, but so you can get an idea of the proportions I'm using. So we're going around again, and I go down, with my pen for a nice line. It works better than side to side. So you can actually test that out sometimes when you have a scrap paper. Just draw a line side to side and up and down and see which one you like better.
And I love the change in pressure on the pen stroke there.
So we're going to begin a poke leaf border down in the corner here. And sort of a classic looking, one of my go-to tangles is poke leaf. And the size and shape of the leaf so elegantly fills the space.
Yeah, you can really make it fit any space there.
I use this technique often with poke leaf, one of my favorites.
And I like this alternating back and forth. That's pretty cool.
So we're going to go up both sides, and then we're going to do something different on the top and bottom. We're going to add a little bit of a mucca, kissing muccas here to separate that section. And we can tangle in there.
And I like the continued symmetry that she has of the thickness of the muccas and the thickness of the stems on the poke leaf. Makes for a nice continuity.
I try not to be too even on both sides, but just have a gentle balance as opposed to an exact balance. So you can see that my muccas aren't exactly the same on both sides. I prefer that look. You actually don't really notice it, but you notice a liveliness in the border as opposed to a symmetrical. So I'm auraing these sections around the mucca.
It just really ties it together.
Yeah.
So simple, so elegant.
Holds it down. Aura is such an important part of Zentangle, and it seems to just be everywhere. It's such a simple concept.
Well, I like the balance of the leaves on the side and then the mucca in the middle there.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to add some perfs here and there just to give it some character there.
I like that you don't put them in every single spot. It's this. I sort of left a lot of the gaps in there because it shows your like thought process, and like I can just see you looking at it and okay, it doesn't belong there, it does belong there.
So I'm sort of gauging ooh,
I love that.
it's nice to have a surprise now and again. Do something that you didn't expect. I like that little heart up there. Hi, Dad. Hi, Dad.
And I like what you do with it later. It's really cool.
Mookas are such a friend to me. They seem to be able to do things that a lot of tangles can't do. You know, they bend all over the place and still say that elegant thing they do.
And I'm sure you've been noticing that she turns her tile a lot. And I think not only can you draw more easily in one direction than the other, but you see it differently as you turn it around. You're not locked into one perspective. Sort of digesting it and okay, what's next?
I have, when we are doing these things, I have a general sense of what I want to do, but not an exact sense. So just like every Zentangle, each stroke tells me where to go next because it can't possibly be the same as the prototype that I was thinking of. So I like for you all to consider this because your photo isn't going to be anything like my photo, and in terms of size or demands on what character that you want to put in there, and
Yeah, and I think that's really important to not, having an idea of a direction is very different from having a precise idea that you want to repeat exactly. That was great. And these are really simple strokes, and it adds such a lovely character.
this is fun to do because it starts to put together, brings it all together, like ties it all together.
So I like how you use those perfs there to just hide that line. The line just disappears in the gap. And she's really nesting those perfs in there. They're really squished in tight with each other and within the space that she's doing.
So now I'm going to add some dark in there to bring these pieces out. To me, I like what that does, and that a lot of William Morris's work was like that he would have a dark background with little tiny light dots or light green dots or something on top of the dark. Sort of a characteristic of a lot of his work.
Yeah, so this is very inspired. If you look at a William Morris print, you'll see the echo in this.
Yeah, I changed my mind on that one.
That you can do.
I like to go in and just add little bits of love here and there, look at it and decide on what does it need now, and this line needs a little tidying up.
So this is with a black Micron 01,
Right?
adding a real tight aura.
We're going to put a tiny border around this whole thing.
And I love how that little escapade, that escaping buka up top there is becoming such a nice part of this.
So we're going to do a fun little border that's so simple, but it's always been one of my favorites, and it's just a series of like maybe 3 perfs and then 3 lines. It doesn't sound like much, but it has kind of a neat look to it. There's no name to this or anything, but it's a great meditation.
It's a nice rhythm to do.
Yeah.
And again, those perfs are just, they're not even inside the line. They're actually over the line and pushing to the outside. So it adds a character to that border.
I'm looking at myself 25 years ago and thinking that, wow, this is what I would have dreamed to be doing at this point in time. And she's just smiling like, yeah, I knew you could do it.
Perfect.
Isn't that a fun little border? I like that.
But wait,
Wait, it's not done. Little brown aura here.
yeah, I like the back and forth of the black and brown.
Okay, I'm putting a little brown dot inside each one of these little perfs around the edges. It's just kind of a fun, unexpected little thing.
And it's that repetition. And again, it's not overly precise, and it's just got that great character.
So you can see I'm going in with my white pen to get that one line. I'm sure you saw it there thinking, oh, what is she going to do with that? See, now this is a William Morris technique to put in a couple of dots in the dark, just to give it texture.
So this is a technique that we'll use quite a bit sometimes of layering, because you can go back and forth. Just make sure that your ink is dry, and then you can go back in and put the white on the brown or black, and then the black on the white. It's a lot of fun.
So I'm actually going to pretty much cover this whole thing with white charcoal, just to soften it, to get it to set back from the photograph. I kind of like that technique, so that the border doesn't take over the image. You want this to just soften. It almost looks like a blue. Even in the photograph I have here, the black turns into like a light blue color and softens a lot. And then went over all the brown.
And even on that. Yeah, it just dials it back just a little bit. Yeah.
My handy dandy tortillon just to smudge out the excess.
And so it's not only smudging it, but it's also pushing it into the fibers of the paper. Sweet.
So I put a little bit of shading on the outer border, but not on the leaves. I left the leaves alone. I just put a little bit on the corners, and just to give it some drama here and there. And then soften that with your dark tortillon.
And we all have our techniques of keeping them separate for a while, and then
Then they all become dark.
they all become dark. Yeah.
This was fun to do. I loved doing this piece.
Yeah, when I was editing, I saw Martha. She has a, wait till you see Martha's way of separating her tortillones. It's really cool.
Oh, good.
Just a little bit. So I like the whole idea of the frame is supporting the picture instead of, the picture is the focus. So that whole way of, almost ghosting the saturation back a little bit was really great.
There it is. I like this piece. Oh, I'm putting in my M.
You'll be able to date your tangles by which chop you're
I
using.
know. I've changed my chop a few times. Maybe 4 times, yeah?
Yeah.
I think you only changed it once.
And
Well, thanks for joining us, and this was so much fun. We're just having a blast with this series, and I'm seeing some of the wonderful things you're doing on the app. It's so exciting, and keep it up.
yeah, and we'll see you tomorrow, and enjoy, and thank you so much, and bye for now.
Bye.